You didn't know there's a place where Kentucky football and basketball fans unite. Welcome to Big Blue Breakdown. Whether you bleed blue or just love a good game, we've got the latest stories, hottest takes, and a whole lot of hometown pride. Hit play and join the conversation. This is your home for all things Kentucky sports.
Alrighty, what is up, everybody? Welcome in to episode number 41 here on the Big Blue Breakdown. I'm your host, Jackson Thurman. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. Make sure to go follow us on TikTok, X, Instagram. Obviously, here on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and make sure to turn on notifications so you can get notifications when we post videos like this. And also when we go live. Make sure to also follow us on Spotify just in case you just want to listen just with the audio. There is a video version also on Spotify, so if you prefer to do that, you can definitely do that. Obviously, we got our sponsor here today, but we're going to be talking 2024 defensive line. I know it's kind of cut out here, but 2025 defensive line preview, 2024 linebackers, and 2025 linebacker preview. We're going to be doing this position. This is the start of the defense position group. Just going through them before we get to Kentucky's first game and really breaking down each position group on this Kentucky team. We've basically done the entire offense. We have done the entire offense up until this point. We are now on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm so excited to be talking defensive line and linebackers here on this show. So before we go ahead and move on, we are going to tell you about our friends over at Dubby. Use code BIGBLUE10 here, as you see on the screen, for 10% off your order. So we're going to go ahead and tell you about our sponsor and our friends over at Dubby. Hello, everybody. We wanted to take a break in this episode to tell you about our friends over at Dubby Energy. Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like any other energy drink. Some facts about Dubby. Number one, it's zero sugar, artificial colors, or dyes, or hidden ingredients. It is also gluten-free. Number two, all flavors are unique and custom made by Dubby. You'll never taste anything like a Dubby drink. Number three, the drinks are $1 or less, guys. That is cheaper than Starbucks or any canned drink. Lastly, it is made in the U.S. It is close to home. Guys, if you guys are looking forward to going to a Kentucky football game or Kentucky basketball game and you need some energy, get Dubby. Dubby is the perfect thing for you working out and you need some energy. You need Dubby. You need Dubby throughout the day. It is for you. Use promo code BIGBLUE10 to get 10% off every single order. Guys, it not only just helps you guys be able to have a clean energy drink that you can use all the time with the tubs that they give you. It helps me and it helps the channel keep growing with you guys. If you guys do that, it helps us post more content and helps them, guys. So it's a win-win-win for everybody. But thank you guys so much for your time here. Please go check out Dubby. Check out their website. And when you are about to purchase something, use promo code BIGBLUE10 to get 10% off your order. Alrighty, welcome back in to this episode number 41 here on the podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining on here. We are at 55 subscribers, guys. That is absolutely awesome. We've gained a lot of subscribers in the last couple of days. I want to remind you that our goal is to get to, if I can get the graphic to come up here, our goal is to get to 500. Our sub goal is 500. Just really any time, obviously hoping as soon as it can happen. But yes, that is our sub goal. Thank you guys again so much for coming on here. We're going to go ahead and start off the episode and talk about the 2024 Kentucky defensive line. In 2024, the the defensive line was very, very talented. Deion Walker ends up going in the draft, and in his most recent NFL debut, um, he had the highest defensive line rookie grade in all of the NFL. Um, he had 13 solo tackles last year, 1.5 sacks, and then you have Josiah Hayes, who actually is going to be returning for the Cats this year, suffered an ACL injury at the start of the year last year. That is just absolutely terrible for him. He only had 3 solo tackles last year, and he only played maybe in a couple of games, but he is an absolute huge part of that interior defensive line, and we're going to talk about him a lot in the preview for the 25 offensive line, but it's so good to have him back, but obviously he didn't play much last year. Then you have transfer Keyshawn Silver. He ends up transferring to USC. He had 14 tackles last year and a sack. J.J. Weaver gone. Felt like he was here for years. Like 8-9 years. He's kind of like the outside linebacker spot, edge guy is what they call it now. He had 17 tackles last year, 5 sacks and 1 forced fumble, and then he moved to a guy that was team captain, Octavius Oxendine, 10 tackles, 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble. And then a guy that returns for the Cats along Josiah Hayes is Trayvon Ribka, 17 solo tackles and 3 sacks and 1 forced fumble last year. So it's good to have a guy that is returning with a whole bunch of production and playing last year. Obviously, Josiah Hayes has the run in the SEC that we absolutely love. Obviously, he was injured last year, so we are hoping to get him fully back healthy this year. And per fall camp, everybody's healthy. I know the McGowan thing is looming, but he is expected guys to return week 1. He is fine. If what the reports that we have seen, that I've seen, especially from Adam Luckett, he does an amazing job covering him and Nick Roush on 11 Personnel. Go check them out, actually. But it seems like he's going to be fine. So injuries is not going to be a problem as of right now for this defensive line, which it was a problem last year. Deion Walker was playing with almost like a broken back, and it just was not a great situation because you have such a talented group. They were not good in the run last year. They had a really nice havoc rate, as you see, as I put here. They had a nice havoc rate in the SEC, but they just couldn't stop the run late in the year, and that falls on to them being injured in a lot of positions there. Obviously, Josiah Hayes being out for most of the year, Deion Walker hurt, your best defensive lineman, and them simply just staying out in the field because the offense couldn't get off the field. Again, this team was, this unit was absolutely loaded last year. Very, very good. But we move on to the 2025 defensive line for the Cats. Let's talk about these guys here. Okay, so in the 2025 UK defensive line, the 2 returners are Josiah Hayes and Trayvon Ribka. I already went over them. Let's go ahead and get into the transfers and the newcomers on this defensive line. You got your edge guy that really replaces J.J. Weaver. I don't know if he's going to be as good as J.J. Weaver, but he can fill his production nicely in that outside linebacker kind of position right there. At Kent State, he had 25 solo tackles, 6 sacks last year, and an INT. He can really fill that edge spot very, very nicely. And a guy that I love also on the edge, a very talented guy. Guys, I'm going to go and say this guy is super underrated. Sam Green. If you look how physically big he is, he looks like an absolute dog on the outside linebacker position, edge, whatever you want to call it. I think he can be very, very good for the Cats this year. He had limited action in his redshirt freshman last year at USC, but he had 10 solo tackles, 1 sack last year. And then you talk about clogging up the middle in Jaden Williams from Wyoming, 14 solo tackles last year, no sacks, but he brings that kind of to fill that Deion Walker role. I would say, obviously not to the biggest extent that Deion did, but to kind of fill that role. He's a big guy. He can play in the SEC. Georgia was really, really pursuing this guy. So that's a big pickup right there as well. Now, David Gusta is going to be our best interior defensive lineman. This guy was a not just an overall top 20, not just a defensive line top 25 pickup, but an overall top 25 pickup in the portal. I believe he was ranked the 25th player in the portal overall. A humongous pickup here. He creates havoc, guys. Like, he may not get to the quarterback and end up getting that stat right there with only 1 sack, but I guarantee you he had 10, 11, 12 times that he was pressuring the quarterback and made them do something bad, or somebody else got the sack. He had 13 solo tackles last year. He's going to fill that middle. He's kind of smaller with his weight and his height, but he can get around you. He can get to the quarterback, and he may not end up getting that sack, but he's going to affect the play positively for us. And possibly my favorite pickup is Humphrey-Grace. He is coming from South Dakota State, an FCS school, but he was like, I think he won the FCS Defensive Player of the Year last year. He is 6'4", 255, 32 solo tackles last year, 8.5 sacks, guys, and 2 forced fumbles. That can be your difference maker right there. And I think I think we're gonna have the havoc this year. It's just we got to be better. We have simply got to be better in the run, and I think we can do that. Not only because I think we're gonna be a little bit deeper in this position than last year. I don't think we're gonna be as talented. Let me just go ahead and say that. I don't think we're gonna be as talented as last year, but I think we'll be deeper than last year, and I think that this can be a top unit for us on the team, period. I think this can be a top unit for us on the team. And I think this can be a top unit in the SEC if they live up to their potential. I think Humphrey-Grace can be a difference maker. I think David Gusta can be a difference maker. I think Cam Old, Sam Green. The more names that I mention, I just get excited about this group, and I think they can cause a lot of havoc. And I think we have the size, the SEC size, to be a run stopper in the middle especially. So if we simply can be better in stopping the run, we're going to be fine. Because I think the havoc is going to be there. I think the pass rush is going to be better than ever at Kentucky this year. And just what has to go along with, like, I think that's a guarantee. Like, you look at the guys that we brought in, this edge guy, like this new kind of position that we have, we're going to be able to get to the quarterback. It's just, are we going to be able to stop the run? So that is kind of like my take on it. I don't think we're going to be as talented, but I think they have the potential of being better than last year's, not only because of injuries, but because I just think the personnel of us getting to the quarterback will be better for us. That's what I think. So let's go ahead and move on to the 2024 linebackers. And there was really only 4 linebackers that truly got some significant time last year. Alex Afari, Daveren Rayner, Steven Sackham-Souls, what a name, and Jamon Dumas-Johnson. Jamon Dumas-Johnson, we're going to start there. He was our number 1 linebacker last year, was a transfer from Georgia. Absolute huge pickup last year. 39 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 INT. The 1 INT was a pick 6, by the way. Daveren Rayner, he actually ended up redshirting last year, which was kind of interesting. But in 2023, he showed flashes, especially in that Missouri game, of being very, very good. He had 7 solo tackles last year, and that was about it. Alex Afari had a lot of tackles last year in 35. He had 1 pass deflection, no INTs, no forced fumbles. Steven Sackham-Souls, who is just now a sophomore, but showed flashes of being very, very good last year. His speed at this linebacker position is very, very nice, and 4 solo tackles, 1 sack. The only guy you lose here is Jamon Dumas-Johnson, okay? And you only pick up 1 guy. You pick up Landon Watson from Marshall, who was previously also at TCU. You go watch this guy's tape. I really, really am curious about this guy and how he will do in the SEC. Listen, I like Daveren Rayner, but we just don't know much about him. I like Alex Afari. He showed that he can be good. Like, you just got to take that next step and become that dude for us, I think. I think Landon Watson can fill in that captain role kind of what Jamon Dumas-Johnson was last year and just be solid for us. And you just bring Steven along. Daveren, like, there's going to be somebody injured, and somebody's going to have to step in. I think Steven can be that guy. I just don't know about the star power at this position. I think all four of these guys are very solid players. Like, this is a very good rotational group right here. I just don't know about the star power, and that's what kind of worries me. I think Jamon Dumas-Johnson last year was their star power. Did I forget to add Derrick Jackson into that graphic? Oh, my goodness. I forgot to add a very big. Well, he ended up not playing that much last year, but Derrick Jackson, you lose him. You lose two guys. Excuse me. Derrick Jackson was a big reason why we couldn't stop the run last year. He was our best. Run stopper at the linebacker position and just general on the team, and we lose him completely. Injuries killed us last year, guys. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. Maxwell Harrison, Derrick Jackson, Deion Walker, Jamon Dumas-Johnson for a little bit, Josiah Hayes. Like, it killed us last year. And I think now with a healthier group, specifically looking at these two position groups like linebacker, I think the rotational pieces right here are going to be solid. I think you can bring in fresh bodies, and that's really going to help. It's just the peak of each of these guys is what I kind of worry about. And I think my favorite out of all these guys is Alex Afari. He's got the most potential to me, and he's got the most experience. So I think if he can end up taking the reins, I like that for us. I think this group will move up, and when I have them graded right now, but I do think that this is probably the biggest weakness on our defense, and I'm just being transparent. I think it goes the weaknesses here. I think it goes linebacker, and then there is a huge jump to defensive to safety. There's a huge jump to safety, and then defensive line, and then cornerbacks. I think cornerbacks is going to be very, very good this year. I'm going to get that in a later episode. If you guys are watching right now, please like, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this one. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure to follow us there as well. Thank you guys so much for joining here. But I think simply what these two groups have to do, and these two are not bad last year. It's just the run, us not being able to stop the run last year killed us. I think that's going to rely on the offense, and I think it's going to rely on us not getting injured, and we don't have any injuries right now. So just cross our fingers, knock on wood, that stays in play. I just don't love the potential or the ceiling of this linebacker core if somebody like Alex Afari doesn't step up. I think Alex Afari is really, really good. I can see him stepping up, and I'll get into why when I would have them if he stepped up. But if he's as normal, I don't love the potential, the ceiling of this group. I think the rotational pieces are there. I think the depth is there. I think the quality of depth is here. It's just the star talent and the star potential. Defensive line, I can see the potential in McQueese, Humphrey-Grace, and Cam Olds, and David Gusta, and Sam Green. I can see the potential there. I can see McQueese Grace stepping up. I can see, Trayvon Ripka stepping up. It's just I don't really see that right now for this linebacking core, and that's why I'm not super, super high on them, and I think that's a big question mark on this defense that really needs to be answered in the first couple of weeks, especially against Toledo week 1. We're going to be talking about here soon, what questions need to be answered on this team. What are we looking for in week 1? The biggest things we're looking for in week 1 is blank, and I think linebacker is going to be a big part of that. I think it all starts up front with the defensive line, but I like this group a lot. So let's carry on that into my grade for both of these guys, for both of these position groups. For the defensive line, I have B, a B grade. My criteria is what we had last year, now what we have this year. Step for what I mean. I think just overall as well. I have a B. Okay, I like this group. I think we're just waiting to me on that breakout player, which I think the potential is there for sure. And so what do I think this position group can move up to? I think they can move up to an A minus. All right. I think the depth is there. I just don't. I think like if there's no star power and it's just these solid dudes, that's gonna be fine. That's gonna be a B, and we're gonna be we're probably gonna be in the middle of the pack, maybe just a little bit better. But if a dude steps up, I can see this being A minus. The biggest thing, I think we're gonna have the pass rush, guys. I truly believe that we're gonna have the pass rush this year. It's just stopping the run. And then we move to the linebackers. Yes and no from last year. Excuse me, I forgot to mention this for defensive line. Yes and no. Yes, being the depth and the quality of depth and the quality of guys like just everywhere on this defensive line and the guys that are coming in, young guys. Yes, the talent is a drop off. Okay, that's why I put no. And so moving on to the linebackers, I give them a C right now. I think this could move up to the highest being a B plus if somebody, and that guy being for me, Alex Afari, becomes a superstar. That's when it can move up, because then you have your solidified guy that is really, really good, and then you're able to have solid guys around him and do different things. But if you just don't have a guy that's that dude for you at that position, I think this is where you stand. And and still like if you look at a lot of position groups in the SEC, their weakest position group isn't going to be this good. So I kind of like that for us. But to really wrap up here in this D-line and linebacker preview, I think the pass rush is going to be here with this defensive line in Cam Olds and Sam Green and McQueese Humphrey-Grace. I think it's going to be there. We need a guy to step up and become an absolute dude, whether that's interior or outside, it doesn't matter. We need one specific dude to step up and be amazing, and I think this floor and this ceiling rises, because like where they're at now is solid, but if one guy can really improve on what they are and be very, very good, I think that raises it. So, and the biggest question mark for this defensive line is stopping the run. I think the pass rush is going to be there. It's just going to be stopping the run. Okay, and I think we're solid there, and I think if a guy can really step up in the interior defensive line and become a dude, we have the potential to be an A minus type of group right there. Linebackers. I think the potential if Daveren Rayner, not Daveren Rayner, excuse me, if Alex Afari steps up is a B plus. It's just I don't love the star power. And in the SEC you can have solid dudes, but you really need a guy, and then you really need quality depth behind that guy. And I just feel like we have quality guys. It's more like a quality depth just over and over and over again. So I think if we can have somebody step up there, and that's why I have us a C right there. But yes, this is my 2025 defensive line preview and linebacker preview. Again, I'm worried about the linebackers if somebody doesn't take the next step. If somebody does not take the next step, I like the defensive line. It's all going to rely on the stopping the run, because I feel like the passers are going to be there. So that is what my thoughts are on this preview of these two position groups. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here again, and go check us out on TikTok, X, Instagram. Obviously, subscribe here on YouTube, subscribe, put on the notification button, and Spotify. Do the exact same thing. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this one, and as always, go Cats.